up, you guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. For those of you who are new, my name is Jacelyn and welcome to my channel. So today I wanted to go ahead and talk to you guys about my postpartum experience so far. I'm almost 2 months in, and also give you guys a 2-month update on baby girl. So I went ahead and posted on my Instagram if you guys wanted to see a postpartum update as well as my baby's 2-month update, and a lot of you guys said yes, so here's the video. Also, just in case if you guys do not follow me on Instagram, hit the description box down below. I have a link for my Instagram page, that way you guys can follow me there, or you can just search me at miss.jace, Y-E-I-S. So first off, I want to go ahead and start with my baby's updates. So I want to start off by saying that it is easier this time around because I already know what to expect. So with Yanni, this was my first baby. I really had no idea what to expect. I didn't know how tired I was going to be at night, waking up every like 2 to 3 hours to breastfeed, to change her diaper, you know, to soothe her because she wakes up crying at the night. She wakes up crying at night. So I already knew that this was going to happen with this one, so I mentally prepared myself for that again. So it wasn't really that bad. So it hasn't been that bad. And honestly, you guys, this baby sleeps, fingers crossed, as of right now, she's sleeping throughout the night. Sometimes wakes up on her own to breastfeed, but she cries for a little bit. I grab her, I breastfeed her, and then I put her back to sleep, and she is good. Like I'm telling you guys, she has been a pretty easygoing baby at night, so that's a plus for me. Hopefully it stays like that, but you never know, babies change. Now, another thing that I wanted to mention on my baby's update is that I've noticed that her crying has increased maybe like 2 to 3 weeks after she was born. So at first, you know, she was pretty quiet, just like very alert, looking around, looking at her surroundings, looking at her mom and her dad, her sister, you know, just being very alert. And now that she's almost 2 months, she's been crying a lot more. So I know usually they say that babies cry more until the 3rd month. That's when they usually start dying down in their crying and won't cry as much. But right now I totally see that she's been crying a lot, and honestly I'm so used to it that it doesn't bother me. I know at first with Yanni it used to like get to me because the baby would cry and cry, and I just felt like I wasn't doing what I was supposed to be doing as a mother. But now that this is my 2nd time around and I've actually taken classes and I've talked to people, I know that it's not me and it's just the baby. As long as the baby's fed, as long as the baby's diaper is dry, it's not wet or soiled, and as long as the baby has been burped, then you are good. You know, doctors tell you that if it starts getting to you, sometimes you can just walk away and leave the baby in the bassinet somewhere safe before you walk away. But for me, honestly, I can kind of tune it out, so it really doesn't bother me. Alright, so the next thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about that I've noticed on my baby girl is her skin peeling. So when babies are born, they tend to shed their skin because they're trying to get, you know, the pigmentation that they're gonna get. So Yanni was peeling, not Yanni, woo! Alea has been peeling a lot, and she finally started, she finally stopped peeling maybe like, I would say like 2 weeks ago. Her body has stopped peeling, but her face was a little rough, and this happened with Yanni too, so I knew that this was gonna happen. I wasn't scared when it happened, I just prepared myself for it. But her face was a little rough. She had a little breakouts around her face, around her eyebrows was very dry. Her ears also got really dry. I did not experience that with Yanni, but with her it worried me a little because it was just so dry. I didn't know if something was wrong with her ears or her skin. But when I talked to the midwife, she said just, you know, you can put coconut oil and just let it, you know, soak in. Just let the skin soak it in, and it'll get better within a few weeks. But honestly, that's what I've been doing. I put coconut oil all around her body just to moisturize her. That's what I use as a lotion. But on her face I do apply a little bit more because it's just her skin has been feeling really rough and really dry. So I really focus the coconut oil on the very dry parts like the ears and the eyebrow area. So I just wanted to give you guys an update on that. If you're a newborn mother, just don't freak out about it. It happens. It'll go away within time. So the next thing that I want to talk about is something that I did not experience with Yanni. So Yanni, she did not have as much hair as Alea has. When Yanni was born, she did have hair, but it was very light and it was very short, and it was very light, and it also was very fine. Alea's hair is a lot darker, like my hair, and it's a lot thicker, and she has a lot more hair. So with Yanni, I did not experience this. With Alea, I've been experiencing dandruff on her hair, and her scalp is really dry. So that kind of worried me a little bit, but just because I did not know that can happen to babies. Like I said, I didn't experience it with Yanni, so I had no idea that this can happen. So all I did was just Google and to see like what we can put on baby scalps for dandruff, and they have recommended olive oil. So that's what I've been doing, and it's been helping out. I don't put a lot because, you know, she's a little baby. I just dip my fingers in a little cup of olive oil and just massage it in her scalp. That way it'll help with the dryness. You know, guys, honestly, that's all like the really big things that I've noticed. I mean, baby girl, she's only 2 months, almost 2 months. I did notice that when I put her down, sometimes I lay her on her stomach because she likes to fall asleep on her stomach, but only when I'm awake doing stuff. That way I can keep an eye on her. At night, she exclusively falls asleep on her back. So one thing that I noticed is that she actually rolls over, and she's not even 3 months yet. She's not even 2 months yet. She's about to be. And when I lay her on her stomach, she sometimes rolls herself over on her back on her own. Honestly, I don't even know how she does it. She's like a super baby because Yanni wasn't able to roll over that young. And honestly, Yanni hated being on her belly, so I always kept her on her back. But this baby, like every time I put her on her belly and she wants to roll over, she'll roll over. So that's just one thing to keep in mind, that maybe your baby will do it, maybe your baby doesn't do it, but he may do it. So just keep an eye on that. I noticed that one day when I was like cleaning it and I go check on her, she was quiet. I go and check on her and she was on her back, and I'm like, what? How in the world did you roll over? You're only a month old. But it's crazy. They're like super babies nowadays, I'm telling you guys. Oh, I almost forgot to tell you guys, she is smiling now. So she legit started smiling like 2 weeks ago. I was just talking to her and she just looked up at me and like gave me the biggest smile. Oh my god, you guys, like if you guys are first time mommies, like I'm telling you, when your baby smiles at you, it's just gonna melt your heart. It's like the sweetest thing ever, and it's just the cutest thing, and all you want to do is just give your baby a whole bunch of kisses, because that's what I do like all the time. Like I'm obsessed with my baby. I'm obsessed with both my babies, but it's just something about like little babies like looking at you, smiling at you, cooing at you. It's just it melts my heart. But yeah, when she smiled at me, I was like I just drowned her with kisses. But yeah, now this is probably the part you guys want to hear the most, and that is my 2-month postpartum update. So you guys, like I mentioned, it's been easier this time around because I already know what to expect now that I have a toddler, and I've already dealt with the newborn stage, you know. So hands down, a lot easier. Honestly, I didn't know what to expect raising a toddler and a newborn. I really didn't know how it was going to be until, you know, the time came, which it's here. And like I'm telling you guys, it's a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. Oh, and I don't know if that has to do with my mood. I mentioned that I was pretty moody with this pregnancy compared to my first one. My first one, I was like energetic, ready to go. I had a part-time job. I was doing field work full-time, so I was pretty busy. So my mood was straight. Nothing really pissed me off or like made me mad. I was just a chill pregnant woman. But this time around, I felt myself getting pretty moody. Sometimes I would catch an attitude. I know that for sure. For sure. But I think it was just harder on me because I had a toddler, and being pregnant, you know, with your hormones changing, I was just so tired of my 3rd trimester. I tried to like have energy, but I was just tired. And then having a toddler running around trying to clean up after her, or play with her, it was very tiring for me. So I think that also made me pretty moody. But now that I've given birth and my hormones are changing, I feel my mood going back to normal. I am more relaxed, I'm more upbeat, I'm just like ready to wake up and start my day, and things like little things are not bothering me like they were when I was pregnant. So that's one thing I noticed, and I'm so glad I'm like starting to feel normal, like I'm myself again. So thanks to that. So far no postpartum depression. So since I am 2 months postpartum, 6 weeks in, I did have my follow-up appointment and everything is normal. So usually after you give birth, you have appointments, a follow-up appointment for your baby, then their 2-week appointment, and then you have your 6-week appointment where they solely check on you to make sure your cervix is back to normal, to see if you have any diastasis recti, and to see if you are ready for birth controls. So my 6-week checkup, they checked me, everything was good, my cervix is going back to normal, no more bleeding, thank God. If you're a first-time mommies, just know that after you give birth, you do bleed for about 2 to 3 weeks, and then it'll die down and it'll be completely gone. For me this time around, I feel like my bleeding only stayed for like a week and a half to 2. It left pretty quick. That was great. Another thing that she checked was my abdomen to see if I had diastasis recti. What diastasis recti is pretty much just the separation of the abdominal wall. So you guys, I'll post a picture right here so you guys can see. So pretty much what happens is that when you are carrying a baby and your baby is growing, in your uterus, everything's shifting upwards because the baby is growing. Your abdomen walls start opening up, separating to create room for that baby. So she checked mine and mine was getting back to normal, but it's still separated. It's not fully intact yet. So she just recommended some exercises for me to do. That way it'll help move it back in place a little quicker. So I'll go ahead and show you a clip of what she wanted me to do. It's just called like simple head raises. Like you can lay in the bed, you can lay on the floor and just do like I guess you can say like modified sit-ups, where you just lift your head a little bit and then back down, a little bit and back down. I'll show you guys a little clip right here so you guys can see how I do it on the floor. She also recommended that I wear a waist trainer or bind my stomach when working out. That way it'll tighten my waist to help move everything back in place quicker as well. And one thing that I forgot to mention on my 6-week checkup is that your midwife or your doctor will talk to you about birth control. If you guys are not wanting to have a child right away, they'll talk to you about options on birth control. Or if you guys are ready for another baby, then don't worry about it. Let's go ahead and start with the fun part of this video. Well, to me, it's the fun part. It's talking about working out and eating habits. Okay, so I posted a boomerang on my Snapchat and on my Instagram. And I was pretty pleased with how my stomach looks for me being almost 2 months postpartum. Like, I am not 100% back to how I was before, not even close. But for being 2 months in, I put like 2 months in postpartum, I'm pretty okay with how my stomach looks. And honestly, I feel like the reason why my stomach looks the way it does is because I was practicing diaphragmatic breathing when I was in my 3rd trimester. That's the type of breathing technique that you use when you are trying to breathe down your baby. And I've also practiced it after I give birth because I knew that my abdomen walls were going to be separated. I've been doing a lot of that after I gave birth. I probably waited like a week after I gave birth to start practicing, just to let my body rest and not like stress it a lot, since I just gave birth to a 6-pound 11-ounce baby. But after a week, that's when I went ahead and picked up and started breathing, doing the diaphragmatic breathing. I feel like when I do that type of breathing, it just makes me feel, I don't know, like good or like energetic throughout the day. So if you haven't tried it, try it, YouTube it. A lot of videos that demonstrate how to do that type of breathing. So another thing I did before I was given the go to actually work out was I started doing some postnatal workouts on Beachbody. I'll go ahead and post it right there. So I do have a Beachbody subscription. I've been doing Beachbody for a long time, like a long time, like when I actually got into fitness. And now that I'm in postnatal stage of pregnancy, I wanted to go ahead and, you know, just smooth my way in there before I was given the go. So I went ahead and got Beachbody, and they have pre and postnatal workouts. So I did a few prenatal workouts when I was pregnant, when I actually had the energy to do it. And now that I'm postnatal, I did a few postnatal workouts. I waited like 3 weeks in postpartum. That way I would let my body, you know, recover and do its own thing, and then I went into the postnatal workouts. But I didn't like jump right in. I just did it at my pace. I made sure I followed my body and I listened to my body, and not overworked myself, because, you know, I still needed to give my body time to heal on its own. So that is what I did before I was given the go to actually work out. And I did have my 6-week checkup not this week, but last week. So when this video goes up, it'll be like 2 weeks in, I think, that I had my checkup. So I am doing a new program on Beachbody. I'll post it right here. It is the 20-minute transform with Shaun T. You guys, that is kicking my ass right now. So I officially started it this week, and I'm on the 3rd day right now. And honestly, you guys, I still go on my own pace. I still go in my own pace, because I'm not back 100%. Like, there's no way in hell your body's gonna be 100% back in place in 6 weeks. Like, you carried a child for 9 months, and it took that long for your baby to develop in there and for everything to expand and make room for that baby. So it's definitely going to take a while for your body to get back to normal, or maybe not even back to normal, but just get back to its closest state it was before you gave birth. So by no means am I doing that program full on like they are. I'm going at my own pace, but I like to challenge myself, so that's what I'm doing. Something else I also forgot to mention was that besides the diaphragmatic breathing that I did and the postnatal workouts that I did, I also did stretching. So I felt that after I gave birth, I just got so tight, like my hamstrings, my quads, my upper body was definitely so tight, because, you know, carrying a toddler around when I was pregnant, my back has always been tight. But when I was pregnant, I felt very flexible, you know, I didn't feel tight at all. I just felt flexible, and just, it was so easy for me to stretch, because, you know, you do have that hormone relaxin that produces when you're pregnant. So after you give birth, that hormone is not there anymore. So for me, I definitely felt tight afterwards, and felt like I needed to stretch a lot, because I just wasn't feeling good. So I did a lot of stretching, and I feel like that has helped me as well, and has helped me prepare for the workouts that I'm doing now. Let's go ahead and talk about eating, because, you know, everybody says that in order to get your body back, or to get a body, you need to have good eating habits. But for me, that is not the case right now. I really haven't been focusing on eating healthy. You know, I do like to eat healthy, especially when I'm, you know, I have a goal set in mind for my body or my health. Eating is very important for me. But right now, I am only 6 weeks in. I am still breastfeeding my baby, and that takes a lot of energy out of my body, and I need a lot of calories when breastfeeding my baby. So dieting is really not a priority for me right now. I am just trying to make sure that I am feeding myself enough in order to be able to produce milk and feed my baby, so she's happy and healthy. So that might not be the answer you guys were looking for, but I'm keeping it real with you guys. I did not go into this eating, you know, like a lot of people say you should be eating in order to get your body back. And in my culture, we believe in la cuarentena, which is like 40 days of bed rest or very light work around the house. So pretty much I followed that with Yanni the first time around, and you guys, to be honest, that was the hardest thing for me, because I was so active before I got pregnant with Yanni that it was hard for me to just like lay in bed and not do much. But I live with my mother, so My mother is 100% Colombian and 100% believes in the 40 days of bed rest and just taking care of yourself and the baby. And I followed it because she was here just making sure I was, you know, well taken care of. She was feeding me foods that will help with lactation and just make sure I had a healthy diet. But this time around, the nurse at the birthing center said, you know, it doesn't really matter, you know, just eat what you want to eat. Don't worry about dieting yet. You know, you just push the baby. You deserve to eat whatever you want to eat. And that's what I've been doing. I still make sure not to eat like really unhealthy foods, but I'm not really, you know, counting my calories or my macros and focusing on what I'm eating. I'm just making sure that I'm feeding myself enough, and also making sure that I'm eating enough to produce enough milk to feed me and also to feed the baby. So that's pretty much it. So that's all I have to tell you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Comment down below and just let me know if there's things that you guys do postpartum. Is there anything you guys follow? Like for my culture, we have the cuarentena, the 40 days of bed rest. Does your culture do anything in specific after you give birth? Comment down below and let me know. I would love to hear your stories. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit the subscribe button down below or right here. My little face icon will pop up right there. And most importantly, don't forget to turn on your notification. That way you guys don't miss out on any more of my videos. I'll see you guys next time. Bye, loves. Mwah.